to you, being of the Jewish faith. There is a movement now, and it recently started by the owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, the hashtag Blue Square campaign. Being of the Jewish faith and with anti-Semitism, fighting anti-Semitism. For those who don't know, explain what anti-Semitism is, and then how can people help with combating anti-Semitism?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I have a really unique upbringing where, anti-Semitism was on display here in my upbringing a lot, unfortunately, that I was a victim of it, and it became almost, routine where it was accepted. And I think that is something that I was holding on to for a long time. And I think the biggest question is tolerance. How can you educate people to be more tolerant of people that are different than you? It's just not Jewish people. It's just like a tolerance of someone that's different. It's not just about skin color, but that's something that I've realized that when I used to wear the yarmulke, the kippah at school, and I was feeling threatened maybe in public, I realized I could take that off and then maybe not be Jewish at that time. But then I realized that skin color is not something you could take off and walk out the door. There's no changing that. So that was at a time when I realized there's more to it than just anti-Semitism. It's a tolerance of educating children. And it's really brought down from generation to generation. And unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to see in our lifetimes, the change that we need to change. But I've become an active participant for many years, even before the pandemic, in trying to use my voice and teach, people how to be more sensitive and compassionate to others. And it's not easy. It's a sad thing that we're still here. I work in a business where I have a great backing with our players that get my back and support me just like I do them. But it's bigger than us. This is something throughout the world, and it's a constant daily struggle. I try to start just with my family and my city, because that's probably the most that I can have an impact on right now, and start from there, and hopefully to continue on that path. But anti-Semitism is still around today a lot, and I stand against it. I will not tolerate it, and it's something that I feel very, very, very passionate about to try to make those changes.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. I stand against it as well, and we can't take off the skin color.
Right.
I haven't tried. And I will not try, because I love the skin that I'm in, right? But the more we talk about those things, anti-Semitism, discrimination, racism, hopefully it will put a little small hole in someone's heart that will infiltrate, where they will no longer have those views and thoughts of people who do not look like them.
Right, and that's the thing. As a child, it was probably easier for me to just take it off, and just not deal with it. And I wasn't happy about that, obviously, because it came back later in my life to realize, be proud of who you are. But at the time, it was just easier. It was the easier route, to not have to deal with it, or not to have something happen to you. It was something, I'm a little kid, not tough, just really young to be dealing with a lot of that stuff. So it's not fair sometimes for kids to have to go through that. But that's the thing that I learned, that it was too accepted back then, that people were like, well, what are we going to do about it if we, they're just going to do it again. So it was just more of realizing you need to educate people on tolerance.
Yeah, we've come a long way. I mean, I was born in the early 70s, so I didn't get a chance to experience like the 60s and the 50s. But through history books and talking to some of my ancestors and things like that, it's tough. And then it is passed down because of it is taught. It is not something that we are born with. It is definitely taught. Now, segue into, since we're on this subject, you also sit on the board of directors for the Miami Center for Racial Justice. Explain to the good people exactly what the cause and the motivation for that Center of Justice. What do they actually do?
Yeah, that also came about during the pandemic. I was active in the pandemic trying to make some changes. Dr. Dunn is a longtime friend of mine, a historian here in South Florida, that has really put together a board of folks to try to create a physical center, to create programming for kids in elementary school with his books and his, curriculum. So it's in the early stages right now. We've done some great work in person with some panels and just some of it at Barry University, more of just educating the folks on what's happened here in South Florida, but also to try to move past what happened with his best friend, which was the 1980 riots when Arthur McDuffie encountered what he encountered here in Miami. So it's a lot that we're just trying to move forward with and hopefully get a lot of community support with it as well.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Now I want to actually talk about, you're the 2022 co-winner of the NBA's Values of the Game Award. Now, during this time of year, it's like TNT on a nightly basis where we release, the MVP, the Hustle Player of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Sixth Man Award, and all of these things. This is one award that we don't hear about. Yeah. Right? Tell us what this award is all about.
Yeah, well, I was completely humbled and flattered to be the recipient of it, along with Michael McCollough, our chief marketing officer. In 2020, I brought a program to the Heat called Dedication to Community that I really started working on, I would say, back, when the Trayvon incident happened and really tried to figure out a way to, have these difficult conversations, and then realize that we've been having too many conversations for too many years without action. Right. There's been a lot of press releases, a lot of statements, a lot of conversations. But what I've realized with everyone having the conversation, that wasn't working. Action needed to happen. And we did a pilot program with the City of Miami Police Department of 75 patrol officers and our staff and community activists, not knowing what was going to happen. And that turned into now pledging to train the entire department. Wow. Human sensitivity and relationship building, which I've been able to now further my scope and learning more about this community through this program. So we got recognized for our partnership in being a pioneer in this initiative where this has never been done before. Not any sports team in any sports industry or any league has done it. And at the time, to partner with the chief and have his officers come in and talk about some tough conversations, or people crying and people really, getting into deep rooted issues here in South Florida and specifically the city of Miami. And now it's actually gone to the county, Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Wow. And we're trying to really bring this to all the other 29 markets in the NBA. It's just something that I'm really proud of. It's probably my biggest accomplishment in my 24 years with the Heat, being able to say that, we went into the Miami Police Department and brought this community together and opened our doors at a time where, you've seen what's been going on throughout the nation. And thankfully, we haven't had a lot of those similar incidents. And I think it's because of people like all of us that really love each other and love this city, and we're different and we have differences, but this program was really a way for us to come together in a way that's never been done before.
Man, that is awesome, especially if it can basically go out to the other 29 markets.
Absolutely. Yeah. And every city's different. Look, Miami's different from North Miami, and Miami's different than, Westchester and all these different cities. There's a lot of cities in South Florida, but we play in the city of Miami. So it was a no-brainer to be able to do this with the Miami Police Department. And I love it. Like tomorrow we have a game, and if you see me at the game on the court, you'll see officer after officer coming up to me, smiling, thanking me for something that we did. And I'm thanking them for what they're doing, because we can't say thank you enough to these folks. and look, what we've learned is, police officers and law enforcement, we're all the same. We put our pants on the same way, just like I think I talked about that day on the panel. NBA players are the same as officers, but I think we stereotype a lot and say they and what they do. And that's something that we all have to get away from, because you cannot stereotype the Miami police because of what happened in another city. Right. We're all guilty of it. And myself was nervous driving around in 2020 before we started this program, because I heard so many bad things about what was going on, and I didn't want to get pulled over. So I could just imagine what other people are thinking about the police, when they hear a siren or they see a car. So now we've really not only educated our staff, but a lot of different community members, and it's really been rewarding.
Man, that is awesome. You when you talk about driving around, this thing we have in our community, driving while black, right?
Right.
But I also realized that you do have just a few police officers that are not keen to being compassionate,
right,
and really taking the law, quote unquote, in their own hands. But the greater of them are great people.
And I would love to invite you to one of the sessions. We're actually going to be doing one the end of May here at the arena with City of Miami. It's a 4-hour course, and you would not believe what goes on. We're going to finish training the department by the end of 2023. It's been a 3-year project. So it's just something that we're really proud about. And I'll definitely invite you as a community member. And it's great just to sit in and hear officers say, I didn't know what this was, and this is something I needed. And then to see the results in the community, where we've had a lot of cases of de-escalation and a lot of things on the news that we've seen, and officers have taken our training. And that is just something that it's saving lives. Like, that is one program that the Miami Heat does that can say we have saved lives, because these officers, these men and women that are out there, are not doing what we do, every day. They risk their life when they go to work. So the fact that through this training we can help save lives, that's bigger than anything we've ever done.
Man, that's Steve, that's legacy defining stuff right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very true.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, man, I cannot thank you enough for spending a bit of your time, of your day with me on Casual Jay-Versations. I greatly appreciate it. Now, before we depart, anything on the horizon that you have coming up that you're excited about?
Well, look, we obviously want to keep winning. That's, like we always say here, keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing right now is winning. But no, on the horizon, at some point the season will end. Hopefully it ends the way we want it to. And then the summer and the off season is here, and 23-24 is right around the corner. So we're just continuously trying to find ways to improve what we've done and really get back to the business that we used to back in 1920 before the pandemic started, and just figure out ways how to incorporate our players, because they're just now getting back into the community in person. So it's nice to really see a lot of the folks that we haven't seen in a while. Yeah. And we're just trying to do our best 365 days a year. So when you see this mark or the Miami Heat logo in the community, it's something that we're excited about. You see the UD 40 behind me. That was a card we all signed for UD that we got to deliver to him to thank him for his 20 years with the team. And who knows, the future is really exciting here at the Heat, not only with Udonis retiring, but there's a lot of things upcoming that if you're a Heat fan or if you're part of Heat Nation, something to be excited about and look forward to.
Yeah, and just really quickly, you touched on Udonis. Man, he's a rare breed.
Yeah, he
not going to find too many NBA players to be with a team for 2 decades.
Very rare. We started around the same time. He went to University of Florida, not when I did, a little after I did, but we went to the same school. We grew up in the same city. We're like brothers. We don't even have to speak. I know what he's thinking. And to be able to see him as a young man grow up and grow up with him and have him, not only teach our players how to be in this community, but to make this city his and take it upon his shoulders to really carry this city and this organization is something that I've been so happy and fortunate to be around. And he's made all of us better. And I'm glad I've had an opportunity to be with him for all these 20 years. And we've worked together like this, just making so many different impactful memories and forever moments in this community. So for that, we're all grateful to have Udonis have been with us for this entire career.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, any parting words for the good people before we jet out? Yeah,
I'll say wear white. We got our white hot heat in place, and just can come to the games. And like I said, we said earlier, just try to be better every day. Whatever it is, it's not talk, it's not, fluff. You got to look in the mirror and say to yourself, what can I really do to improve myself, to maybe selfishly help yourself before you can help others, and that's something that sometimes you do have to be a little selfish and try to help yourself before you can help others.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, man, I greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, for carving out a little bit of a time in your schedules. I know everything.
We'll see you at a training. I would love to see you in person.
Okay. We're gonna talk offline with that in just a moment as well.
Okay.
So good people, look out for this interview. We're going to be dropping this very soon. You can keep up with me at Casual Jay-Versations on Facebook. Of course, I am CJ Joseph across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also TikTok, which I'm not on there that much, but it's there. And of course, YouTube at CJ Joseph. Good people, continue to do the right things. Fight anti-Semitism, fight discrimination. And to the next time we meet again on Casual Jay-Versations, be blessed.
Thank you.